Hello everybody, this is Jeff Manning. I just thought I'd give you a quick rundown of how the tournament went. But before I do, I just want to say thank you to everybody that participated and everybody that shared the tournament and talked it up. I really appreciate it. We really expected maybe 20 boats to show up. Me and Richard had talked about it and we was thinking, maybe we'll get 25. But man, y'all blew it out of the park. We had 51 boats show up. 51 for a little $50 tournament. And like I say, I appreciate it a whole lot. Now what we'll probably try to do, this year I doubt we'll try to do another one. But thanks to Richard for getting the fire back in my belly about doing these things again. Next year we're going to try to do another one. Hopefully Richard's still up for it and he can stay on board and help me get it going, because Richard's a really good person. He's a really good fisherman. And he's really good for the fishing community. He takes people out, he shows them what to do. He shares information, he shares spots, he shares bait. He does a lot for the catfish community, so I want to give him a quick shout out. I also want to thank my son-in-law, Michael Pachaco. He helped because I happened to be at UNC Asheville Saturday morning, so I had a long day. I had to move my daughter in, and he's the one that took care of helping sign people up. But enough of that, let's just get into the tournament. Well, like I said, we had 51 boats show up for a $50 tournament. So we ended up having a $2,550 prize fund. And as a lot of you know, the Grand Slam tournament, it worked out where $10 went to the Channel, the Blue, and the Flathead. 20 went to the overall winner, or the Grand Slam. And like what we talked about when I brought up this Grand Slam, what makes it challenging, we had 51 teams show up for this tournament. And I think altogether we had maybe 6, maybe 7 teams that accomplished getting the Grand Slam. Now, I warned everybody beforehand, the channel cat is going to be the hard fish to catch. Well, everybody's used to catching channel cats all the time now. This is going to be simple. Well, at the end of the night, I asked everybody, okay, show of hands, how many teams had only one piece missing, and that was the channel cat for the Grand Slam. And it was funny. There was probably 25, 26 hands went up. The channel cat cost those teams. So, like I say, there's a strategy to this Grand Slam tournament, and that's what makes it so exciting. So hopefully next year we can have a little bit more notice than what you did this year. Maybe we can draw a bigger crowd, which that's going to be hard to beat. 51 boats. That's awesome. And again, I appreciate that very much. Well, my game plan for the entire tournament, and I'll share it now, was we went for channel cat first thing. We spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours drifting in the backs of creeks to find that channel cat. We found one, and it was actually a pretty good channel cat. It was a 4-pounder. Not quite enough, but after we got him in the boat, we said, okay, it's time to go find the other 2. So my strategy was to go fish ledges, humps, and anything that had a lot of stumps and trees on it. I figured there's always blues hanging around them, and if you're going to catch a flathead, that's a good place to get him. Alright, now let's get to the actual results. From all the conversations I had with a lot of the boaters that fished that night, the bites seemed to be sporadic. Some boats claimed they had caught a lot of fish but couldn't find any size, and then I had several boats that come up to me and said all they had was a bite here and a bite there. Never actually caught a fish, actually got the skunk, which there's no shame in getting the skunk, because this time of year you just never know what's going to happen at night. But it seems like most of the people that fished, pretty much everybody I talked to said it was a fun evening, a fun tournament, because there wasn't a whole lot of money invested for the tournament part of it, but it was a different experience. You weren't just out there fishing. There was actually a strategy involved. Like I say, our strategy, catch a channel cat first, just because I knew how hard it'd be to get him, and then go try to upgrade on the 2 bigger fish. I mean, across the board, everybody said they enjoyed it, and that makes me super happy. And most of them said they would be willing to do it again. So, and that's a fact, man, that's a success all the way around. Well, let's get with the winners here. We had several fish weighed in over 40 pounds. We had 2 blues over 45 pounds. We had a 37-pound blue, a 39-pound blue, a 39-pound flathead, but we had a 43-pound flathead. So we had a lot of good fish. Now you got to understand, not all the fish are weighed. We only weighed until we got a huge fish on, and then people didn't even bring any fish up unless they could beat what was already on the board. So, I mean, that's pretty good that we had this many weighed that people actually got to see. I went and seen probably I seen probably 10, 12 fish over 30 pounds that never made it to the scales. I seen several 30-pound flatheads that never came to the scales because there was a 43-pounder on the board by then. So let's go over it. Let's do a quick rundown of how the money was paid out. Well, the big flathead went to, I want to make sure I get both members of the team here. The big flathead went to Kyle Hefner and Michael Anderson. They done a real good job. They had a slam. Their slam total was 55.65, and their big flathead was 43.15. And that 43.15 won them their share of the pot, which was $510. And now, to the big winner, Tommy Andrade, he ended up bringing in the big blue for the tournament at $45.80. He also had the big channel cat for the tournament at 5.45 pounds. For Lake Wiley, that's a pretty good channel cat nowadays. I've seen it one with less than 2 pounds. So 5.45, that's a pretty good channel cat. And for his effort, he ended up getting $510 for the channel cat, $510 for the blue cat, and because he had the winning slam weight, which was the channel, the blue, and the flathead combination, he had a winning weight of 61.05. Now that don't sound like a huge weigh-in, but 61.05 when you're having to weigh all three species and one of them has to be a channel cat, that's an awful good stringer, and that's what makes this tournament exciting. Well, for his efforts, he ended up bringing home $2,040 for a $50 investment. So you can't do nothing but give him applause and give him all the credit. And also, I hate to admit it, but he was kind of from our rival river system here. He was from the Yakin chain. But I will say this, the man puts his time in on the water. He puts the work in. And you can't fault a man for knowing what he's doing. Congratulations, Tommy. Great job. Congratulations, Kyle and Michael Anderson. Great job. Now, something else I should say was Tommy was fishing by himself. So he didn't have to split his money with nobody. So great job. And that's a lot of work. I know it is. Well, that's a quick rundown of it. And if you want to see a video of the weigh-in, look up New School Fishing and look at the slam tournament. JR done a great job of videotaping the weigh-in for me. I was trying to do a live feed. I ended up losing signal, and because the signal froze up for more than 2 hours, YouTube killed the video, I guess. So anyway, that video got lost, but he done a great video. Please look him up and watch it. It's a great video, and it shows exactly how the experience is. Now, what was super nice when this was over, everybody sat around, even though it was 2 o'clock in the morning. We had people sitting around talking, and it was more of the old style tournaments like we used to have back in the day. Everybody just come together as friends. People were talking about the bait they were using. They were talking about where they fished, and they were actually telling the truth. That was what was nice about it. It was a good little brotherhood right there. I want to thank everybody that watched this video, and I appreciate you taking the time to see it. And if you have any questions, hey, just feel free to ask them, and stay tuned. Next year, hopefully we can make this bigger and maybe a little better. Thank you very much. I appreciate you watching. Bye.